to begin with the stickman figure on Synfig, the very first step is to ensure that the canvas size is large. So I'm going to change the properties of the canvas size right now. I'm going to make it 1020 to 700, 740. Apply. Okay, now you see that my canvas size is quite big enough and quite good for me to view also. Now to begin with, I'm going to create my stickman. So I'm going to ensure, the second step is to ensure that my stickman has the appropriate body parts completely labeled. So first I'm going to insert the head of the stickman. So this is the head of the stickman, and I'm going to label it as the head in the dialog for the object labeling. So this is the head. Then the second part of step number 2 is I'm going to create a torso using the spline tool. So I'm going to create that, but ensure that your toggle tangent handles are disabled. So when you create the spline tool, it does not bend around the region areas. That means it does not expand around the region areas. I'll show you towards the end what does it mean. So I have unchecked it so that it is not enabled currently. Once I'm done with my torso, ensure that the brush size is 12px. Do you see this? It should be 12px, and then click on the spline tool to finish with this. So now my torso is done. So I'm labeling this part my torso. This is the second step, part 2. Now the third step is I'm going to use again the spline tool. Let me dislabel the spline tool. I'm going to use the spline tool again, and I'm going to create two legs, the left leg and the right leg. So first the left leg. I hope you are able to view this. Once you are done with this, click on the spline tool again, and you are done with this. So this is the torso. So I'm going to relabel it to torso, and this is my left leg for the stickman. The next part is no space, please. No space between the body parts. Left leg. This might happen, it's all right. Sometimes this happens, you have to just type it again. Left underscore leg. Now it's fine. Now I'm going to select the next part. Ensure that your region and your outline layer is not selected. You are just supposed to select the advanced outline layer, and the brush size is 12. Now the right leg. I'm creating the right leg. I hope this is clear to everyone now. I click on the spline tool again. So my right leg has been done for the stickman figure. So I label it as right leg. Okay, now I hope this is clear. Now I'm going to label my hands. So right hand and left hand, there are two hands that the stickman has. So how am I so sure? You remember that pivot animation? What I did, what was with the animation was I created a storyboard of all the frames for the walking stickman. So if you would like to have a look at it, I'll just show it to you. What does it look like? So this is my walking stickman. So how would I know what should be the movement for the stickman? So what I've done is I have exported the frames. So when I export the frames, there are 10 in one row. So there are total 30 frames. So each frame shows me what is the stickman's body movement like for each frame. So then this will help me to create a similar kind of movement in Synfig. I hope that makes it very clear to you. Okay, so now we are back over here, and as you could have seen visibly, the hand connects from the torso itself. So we are going to do the same. So first hand is the left hand. So I have done that, and I'm going to label it now. Please ensure that when you're labeling, only that particular part is highlighted. Left hand. Okay. Okay, if it happens again, you have to label it, not an issue. Left hand. Okay, now it's done. Now I'm going to select my spline tool, and I'm going to label my right hand. Once I'm done, I have to click on spline tool again. So I did that. So right hand. The question is, how do I keep this as one object, right? This might be a question in your minds. Do you remember grouping? So what we will do is we will group this entire stickman so that we can move it together. So for example, if I will undo the spline tool, otherwise it's going to create a difficulty for me to go ahead. So for example, if I want the entire stickman body to move, so I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to group them. You remember this feature? So if I want to move it a little ahead, I can just draw it and it will move ahead. But now I want to show the movements of the body parts. So you click on this and then you can use frame by frame. You can use the frame by frame movement and you can actually work it out. So I will use the frame by frame which I have saved. So this is my first motion. For stickman, this is the first frame, right? First image. So I'm going to see that my legs are in inverted V. My right hand is a little behind and my left hand is a little in front. So I come back to my synfig animation and now I'm going to first align the right leg and left leg. Okay, so this is a V already, left leg. So I have to ensure that this becomes a V also. So yeah, a little towards, a little closer. Okay, ensure it's done. Okay, done. And my right hand had to be moved inside. If you remember, it was a little in, like this. Yeah, it was a little like this, and the other left hand was a little bit outward. So I will move it inward. Okay, and now this is a little outward. That's fine. I'll just change its position exactly like this. So the elbow is a little upward, elbow is a little upward, and here it goes. Now I'm going to animate it now, right? So this is my first frame. I'm going to key this frame in here. All right, now for the second frame, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change or alter the movement of the stickman according to what I require. So if I would like to look at it, this is the first frame. The second frame is legs come a little towards inside and the right hand goes a little beyond on the top. Okay, so now what I can do is I can select the legs, right leg, and I can ensure that I move a little bit in and ensure that you move it a little bit outward once it's grouped. So move it a little bit here. You have to show that gradual movement also, and then you are supposed to alter the uh, left hand movement a little bit inward. All right, so let's see how does it look like after I keyframe this. So when I keyframe this and I begin, I have to undo the animation mode and I have to check. So yeah, it was able to move. So like this, I'm going to apply frame by frame those 30 frames in terms of movement, and I'm going to transfer the capability of my stickman. Is it clear to everyone? I hope that this session is very clear. If you have any difficulty, you can ask me. Thank you all.